Welcome, my name is Jeff Bartels. I'm an infrastructure implementation consultant here at Autodesk, and today's session is called Harness the Power of Imagery in Cloud-Based Civil Infrastructure Projects. Specifically, we're going to be looking at how we can incorporate a dedicated photo gallery into our Civil 3D-based Autodesk Construction Cloud projects. Let me bring up the agenda. We've got a lot of things to talk about today. We are going to start by exploring the photo gallery. We'll look at the interface. We'll look at how we can view the various types of images, how we can view and edit metadata, things like that. Once we understand how the photo gallery works, we will then look at how we can incorporate the photo gallery into our projects. We will also look at how we can upload photos to that environment, whether we do it through a web browser or whether we are taking pictures out in the field using a mobile app and having them routed directly into the photo gallery. Once we have the photo gallery associated with a project, we can then incorporate photos into things like markups and issues. And then when we have this repository of photos, we have the ability to share those with stakeholders, whether they be a member of our project or not. We'll walk through how that is done. At the end of today's session, I'm going to be sharing some hyperlinks to additional resources if you'd like more information about the topics that we are covering today. If you have questions, once again, please put those in the Q&A pane. We'll be jumping into those at the end of today's session. As always, this is going to be a PowerPoint-free zone. We'll be working live in the application for the duration of our time together. Since we're talking about the photo gallery, before I jump into that, I just want to mention the photo gallery is a designated space within your project. It is a repository, and that repository allows you to view your images, view and edit metadata. You can view them on a map. You can share them with people. It operates outside of your directory structure. So since it is this dedicated place just for photos, it does have some requirements for the file formats. And I've got those listed on screen. Okay, let me drop out of this. And here we're in the Construction Cloud. I want you to see that I'm in a project called Community Center. To access the photo gallery, I'm going to come over to the left side of the screen and I'll click on this Photos option. This brings up the photo gallery where we can see all of the photos that exist within this project. This is just a sample project, so I don't have a tremendous number of photos in here. If I drag down, you can see what I have. If this was an actual project, there could be hundreds of photos in this gallery. If we wanted to know how many photos are in the gallery, if I click the Select button, it will select all of them. I can see I have 21 images in this case. Let me deselect. If I come down to the right, we can see how the images are sorted in the gallery. Currently, it's by date taken, so we can see the most recent photo there is September 13th, the upper left corner. And then if we come down, the oldest photo is from July 10th. We can see that down at the bottom of the screen. We can sort the images in ascending or descending order using this arrow on the far right. We can also change how the images are sorted. If we open the menu, I can sort these by date added or by the image title. To view an image, I can click on it. This brings the image up in the viewer. If I roll my mouse wheel forward and back, I can zoom in and out on the image. Note there are also some buttons down here in the toolbar that will do the same thing. If I wanted to maximize the image on screen, I can click this Maximize button. Okay, if that would be helpful. To put this back into a window, I can click the Minimize button, or I can tap the Escape key on my keyboard to go back to this original view. One more thing, there are some carrots here. I can use these to kind of slide left and right through the images. If I click this, it'll go to the next image in the gallery. Let me click and we'll go back. Another navigation option. When a photo is open, we can view its metadata over here to the right. The metadata is sorted into two tabs, Details and References. We'll talk about Details first. On the Details tab, we can see who took the photo, when it was taken, and when it was added to the gallery. In this case, notice the taken on date and time and the added on date and time are identical. That's because the photos were taken through the mobile app. And when you take the photo through the mobile app, it goes right into the cloud-based gallery. So there's no reason to come back to the office and download photos and then upload them someplace else. All of that happens in real time. Below, we have three additional pieces of metadata. These are editable. You can see the title of the photo here. I can click in here and I can change the title if I desired. I'm going to leave the default for right now. Notice the title of the photo is up here in the upper left corner as well. Let's come down to the tags area. Using tags, I can associate keywords, if you will, with these images, and these come in handy if I want to sort the gallery. If I have a tremendous number of images and I want to find images of a particular type, I can add tags to them. If I click to add tags, you can see some of the tags that exist in this project already. I'm going to create a tag. I'm going to type hydrant, for instance, and you can see if it doesn't recognize that tag, it will create the tag. And you can have more tags. If I click the edit button, you can see hydrant is now an option that I can assign to other photos. I could also add the site tag to this. So we have a tags option to assign to the images for filtering. There is also a location option. Historically, the location feature in the Construction Cloud has been used in a vertical sense. Location is something that you typically define ahead of time in your project. You may have a major category called building name of some sort. And then inside that building name, you may have subcategories for the various floors. And then inside those floors, you may have subcategories for the various rooms. This way, if you take a picture, how do you identify where that picture was taken? You can navigate the building, the floor, and the room number. Works great in a vertical sense. From a civil perspective, not quite as helpful unless we don't look at this as a location. We look at this as being another means to assign an attribute to a photograph. Just imagine if in my project, rather than defining a building as a category, for instance, I created a category called utilities. And then inside that category, rather than defining floors, I put the various utilities that are in my project: water main, storm sewer, sanitary. I could also create subcategories under each of these called like pipes, structures, whatever you'd like. It's just another piece of metadata that you can associate with your image. So in this case, I'm assigning water main to this. This can be helpful when I'm in the gallery. I can say through the location feature, I can do a filter and I can see all of my water main images. One of the things I like about this location feature is it transcends the photo gallery. These tags here are just in the photo gallery, but location exists elsewhere. You can use this on your issues as well if you're filtering issues. If you leverage this the way I have here, you could say, show me all the issues associated with utilities. Show me all the issues associated with water main. Just another way to leverage that. Finally, if we come down to the bottom, we can see GPS location. This is the location that we're interested in on the civil side. In the event you have the location feature turned on for the device that's capturing your photo-based asset, it will retain the lat-long information and you can see where this photo was taken on a map. If I click on the map, it will open a new browser here. This is Google Maps. If I roll my mouse wheel back and forth, I can zoom in and out. If I hold the left mouse button down, I can pan. This will show me exactly where this photo was taken. If I go to the satellite view, okay, very nice. I don't know how often you've looked at the photos associated with your project and you ask yourself, great picture, but I don't know where that was taken on the site. Here you can see where all of your photos were taken. All right, I'm going to close this. Let me talk about the metadata here. We have the References tab. On the References tab, we can associate an image with several other things. I can associate this image with an asset or a form, RFI, submittal, or a sheet. These are Autodesk Build concepts. These are beyond our scope for today. I just want to show you that this is something else that you could do with your images. You can associate them with these other types of things. And then finally, in the upper right corner in the viewer, I've got a More button. I can use this to delete an image. I can download the image to my local device. I can also share the image. If I click share, you can see that it basically copied the URL to this to my clipboard. And knowing that, if I go to another web browser and say paste and go, if I was to paste this URL into an email, for instance, and I sent it to someone, so long as they had access to the project and they had access to the photo gallery, they'd be able to view this photo just like I can. All right. Once again, I've got another tab open here. Let me close that. And now I will close this image. In addition to being able to view the images, we can also view video. Video is denoted in the gallery using this play button in the upper right corner. If I want to view a video, I can click on it, much like we did with the photo. And when this comes up, you can see similar details, similar references, similar access to these tools under the More feature. In this case, this video was captured using a device that wasn't able to capture the location, so we don't see the map in this case. If I want to play, I can just click in the middle of the screen. When this is running, if we look down below, you can see some familiar tools. I can use this button to mute the audio. I can also drag the volume left and right. Notice where my cursor is. I found on my system that when I access these buttons through the viewer, my cursor needs to be a little lower than you might think. Might be different on your end, but just showing you that on my end. If I want to maximize the video, I can click here, make it full screen. We can put that back. There's also a More button. I can use this to download the video, or I can adjust the playback speed. Or I can, if I click here, I can turn this into a picture in a picture, which is kind of nice. When this picture comes up, I can move this around. I can even make it larger or smaller. And this will exist even after that video has been closed. In fact, if I go to my Files tab for a second and jump into a CAD file, I just want to show you that that remains on screen. So if that video is associated with a model or some documentation or some type of plan sheet, while you're working on that sheet, you can have that video running in the corner, if that would be helpful to see that in conjunction with something else. Let me close this, and I'm going to close that drawing, and I'm going to go back to the photos. One final photo asset that is viewable here within the gallery, if you have a 360 camera, 360 images are supported here within the gallery. 360 images are denoted by this little globe icon in the upper right corner. If I click on a 360 image, the 360 camera, rather than taking a typical planar photo, it captures imagery in a sphere. So basically, when you snap a picture, you have a photo in all directions. When this opens up in the interface, I can hold my left mouse button down and I can drag, and I can look up, down, left, right. All right, if you're on the survey crew and you're capturing images out in the field, capturing 360 images can be a way to maybe reduce the number of photos that you're taking out there, because one of these photos can serve the purpose of many traditional photographs. When this is up on screen, I can roll my mouse wheel forward and back to zoom in and out. You can see there's zoom controls here as well. I can maximize this using the maximize button. And then if I want to put things back the way they were, I can click that maximize button again, or I can tap the escape key. Just like with the other photo-based assets, you can see similar content over here. One last thing with the 360 image, if I wanted to view the extents of that photo in a planar view, if I click this icon, it will show me that entire 360 as a flat plane. And I can also zoom in and pan when this is up on screen. All right, let's put that back the way it was, and then I'm going to close this image. So at this point, we have a cursory idea of how the photo gallery works, how we can access the various images, how we can view the metadata, edit the metadata. Let's look at how we can incorporate or add a photo gallery to an existing project. I'm going to come up to the project picker here at the top of the screen. I'll choose View All. I have a project that I've created called Eastgate Park. When I open that up, I want to show you that there's not a whole lot in here. I just have a couple of directories. All right, I'm just keeping things simple. I've got a couple of CAD drawings in there, and I've got some plan sheets. Maybe this represents the current set of plans. They're all PDFs. You've probably noticed when you're in the Construction Cloud, if you go over to the left side of the screen, there is no Photos option over here under Docs. Photos is a tool that is associated with Autodesk Build. So if you want the photo gallery, you'll need a license of Autodesk Build, and then you'll need to activate that license for this project. If I go to Members, for instance, here you can see the members I have in this project, just a couple people. If I click on myself and I come over to the right, you can see that I have activated Build for myself. As soon as I do that, it's available for the project, and then any other folks that would need access to the photo gallery or any of the other Build functionality, I would activate it for them as well. So I've done that. When Build has been activated for your project, when we go up to the product picker, I can open this up and you'll see there's the Build tool set. When I select that, now we can see all the Build associated tools, and from here I can choose Photos to go to the photo gallery. Now this is a brand new project, so there's no photos in here at this time. Let me show you how we can upload photos to this environment. Maybe you just got Build. Maybe you've got a large collection of project photos you'd like to put into this gallery. One way we can do it is by clicking this Add button. When I click Add, I can then bring up my Windows Explorer. I've got some images. I will select those, and I'm going to drag and drop them into this dialog box. When I do that, I'm going to tap Done. I don't have to wait for those to upload. You can see those populating in the environment. If you click on an image, very similar to what we saw a little bit ago, we can see the details and the various metadata items that are here. Pay note that it does retain the location. So these are photos I captured using my traditional cell phone, and when I took the pictures, it retained that location information. If I click on this, it'll pop that back out to the map. We can see where that's located if I go to the satellite view. If we click on the icon, it will show us the photo here in the upper right corner. Just imagine, let me close this up, and I'll close up this image. Here in the photo gallery, there is a map option. Just imagine if you could go to a map and view every photo asset that you have for your project. Any of the photo assets that have locational information will display on this map. Once again, we can go to a satellite view as well. So I can see the location of every photo. In the event photos are close together, I will see this blue icon. As I zoom in, we'll see the various icons separate. This shows me where every picture was taken. I can click to view the photo. Here's a thumbnail, and then if I click on it, I can open it up as a larger view. So all of that is handled automatically for you. Let me go back to the gallery. So this is how we would upload photos to the photo gallery. Most often, you're going to be capturing images out in the field. So I would like to simulate capturing some photos. Bring this up. Now, I am not out in the field. Currently, I'm actually sitting in my basement. So I'm bringing up an image to create some ambiance. We'll use this to kind of simulate that we're out in the field. At this point, I am going to share my tablet screen with the monitor. If you'll indulge me for just a second, it's going to bring up a super secret code that I can put in here. I am using my tablet. However, you can use your smartphone as well. The app that I'm using, the Autodesk Construction Cloud app, works on iOS and Android. I prefer to use my phone when I'm out in the field. It's just more natural to be able to take pictures and throw the phone back in my pocket when I'm done. That being said, for this demonstration, the tablet has a much larger screen to make this easier to see. Let me get into my interface here, and I'm going to tap to open the Construction Cloud. And then in projects here, I believe that project ended with the word park. There we go. So if I type park, you can see updates available. There was changes to photos. I'm going to tap sync, and we'll let that catch up. And then if you look next to the project name, there's a more button. I'm going to tap more, and then I'm going to tap edit download options. When you have access to the photo gallery, if you want to, you can download any existing photos from the gallery such that you can view them on your mobile device. You don't have to. I mean, if I take pictures while I'm out in the field, I'll be able to view those in the gallery. But if I want to see any of the other photos, I would have to download them. I would like to view some of these photos, so I'm going to choose that option, and I'll say, just give me the photos from the last 7 days, which will essentially be all of them in this case. I'll tap Apply Changes, and then I will tap to open that project. And you can see those photos are downloading in the corner there. It just takes a second. Let's assume that maybe I'm a surveyor, I'm out in the field, I want to capture some existing conditions. Do I have to do anything magic when I jump into the app in order to start taking photos? No. As soon as I go to a project, you can see there's a Take a Photo button right here. For this example, we're going to assume that I am, just based on the images that I have, we are going to assume that I am taking pictures of some installation of some storm sewer. So I'm going to tap the Take a Photo button, and then I am going to choose to use my camera. Note that I can also leverage photos that are already on my mobile device if I took the photos earlier. I'll choose Use Camera, and then I am going to tap to take a picture of these flared end sections. Notice that I have the option of capturing video here as well. Keep that in mind. And you can take more than one picture at a time. At the risk of destroying the magic here, I am going to bring up another photo, and we will pretend we're taking a picture of some more storm sewer. When I'm done, I will tap Next. This shows me the photos that I've captured. At this point, if I tap the Done button, these photos will go right into the photo gallery. Sometimes you may want to take multiple pictures, different angles of things, and maybe some of those pictures that you took, you maybe don't want to go in the gallery. There is a Select option here as well. If I tap Select, this puts a toggle on each of these images. If I tap the toggle, I can then come down and click this trash icon to remove those from the queue that's going to go into the photo gallery. It'll still keep the photo on your device, but it won't go into the gallery. For this example, I'd like to put both of these in here, so I'm going to remove the toggle and I'll tap Done. And you can see this takes me right into the photo gallery on my mobile device. And in the gallery, I can see those other images that we uploaded, and they're sorted very similar by date. So the photos that I just captured, if I tap on these, I have many of the same options. In the lower right corner, I can put a tag on this. I don't know that I have any tags in this project. I'm going to choose Create Tag, and I'll create a tag called FES for Flared End Section. And then I'll tap Done. So you can see now I've got a tag on that photo. That'll help me when I'm filtering for these later. Not going to tap details in this case. Remember, I'm sitting in my basement. So if I tap details, it's basically just going to flash my home address, which probably isn't a great idea. Let me tap this up here and I'll open up another image. In this image, I'll tap details just to show you that when you capture an image out in the field, I can tap to change the name of this. I'm just going to call this hydrant for lack of a better term. Location, if you wanted to go that route, you can see that I've got my locations set up. I can use this to assign additional metadata to that photo. And then if I wanted to attach tags, you can see how flared end section shows up as a tag. I can also create a new tag for hydrants. Okay, I'll tap done. And then we can see the other information about who took the picture, when it was taken and added, and we can see the map down here where it was captured. Let me tap back, and then I'll tap to go back to photos. In addition to being able to capture photos from the home screen, we can also capture images here within the gallery. In the corner, if I tap that add button, I have the ability to take some pictures. I'm going to choose use camera. And once again, destroying the mystery here. I'm going to assume that we're out in the field and we'll take a picture of some material that has been delivered to the site. Let me tap next. There's that picture. I will tap done. You can see how that goes into the gallery. So we've seen how we can put images in, how we can view the images. Just like with the web browser, we can view video when we're in the field. If I tap in the middle of the screen, I can watch that video. As this is playing, we have the volume control. We have a maximize option here. Even though it's video, I can assign tags to this. I can adjust the metadata as well. Note there's a share button in the lower left-hand corner. Any of the photo assets that we view will have a share option. If I tap that, it will give us a lot of the similar share options that we would have when we're using a mobile device. I can share this via a text message or an email. I could save it to my local photo gallery if it's not there already. Let me close this. And we can also view the 360 images on the mobile device. If I tap a 360 image, when this comes up, I can press and hold with my finger and look in all directions. In the lower left corner, there's an option called switch to motion. If I use that, it gives me more of an immersive approach to this. Now, as I turn my device, it's as though I'm standing looking through a window, exploring the site through my tablet. I can also switch to regular view, which will display the entire 360 image as a flat plane. And when it does, I can still zoom in and out and pan. Okay, let me go back to photos. One more thing, when we were on the home screen, we tapped photos and it took us into the photo gallery. Let me show you how you can find the photo gallery when you're in the mobile device. In the lower left corner, I'm going to go to home, just to go back to that main screen. If I wanted to go directly to the photo gallery from here, I'm going to tap more. And this brings up the additional menus. From here, I can tap photos to bring up that gallery. When the photo gallery is available for your project, you can associate images with things like markups and issues. Let's look at that. I'm going to back up, and at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to tap on Files to bring up my directory structure. And I'm going to open up Plan Sheets. Let's assume I'm out in the field and I'm looking at some soil erosion control. Maybe I'm investigating silt fence. I'm going to drag this up and I'm going to open a plan that's got the soil erosion and sedimentation control. So just a PDF, let's zoom in. This heavy dashed line represents my silt fence for this project. In the event I see an area where the silt fence requires repair, notice my markup tool. As soon as Build has been added to the project, if you have access to Build, you will see this new photo-based markup option. I'm going to zoom in. We'll assume I've got a problem with my silt fence right here. All I have to do is come over and tap the photo icon, and then I can tap on screen where we have the issue. From here, you can see that I can use my camera, or I can select a photo from the photo library on my device, or I can select one directly from the project photos. I'm going to choose to use the camera, and then we will take a picture of this silt fence. Let me click next, and then I'll tap done. So when I'm out in the field, I can be capturing images of conditions. I can publish this such that this markup is now going to be viewable by anybody that views this PDF file. I could tap the add button if I wanted to add additional photos to this, and I could do that at any time. Let me tap outside this dialog box. and I'll zoom out. One of the things I really like about the photo icon is it kind of acts like a kiosk. If I create an exhibit for this, I can simply tap the icon to view the image. And when I tap the image, it'll take me right into the viewer in the gallery. Okay, I'm going to do some foreshadowing here. Notice every time we have viewed a photo through the mobile app, you've seen this little squiggly line down here. This allows us to create markups. I'm going to create a markup in just a second, but I'm not going to do it from here. Just keep in mind that we could do it from here. And I'll show you another way we can access this. Let me tap done. What we just did was created kind of an informal photo-based markup. Maybe this is a more formal process where I need to assign the work to somebody. So instead of doing this using a markup, I'm going to do it as an issue. I am going to tap the Issues button, and I'm going to say that this is an observation. I will then tap to put the push pin where there's a problem, and then I can give this a name. Since I'm using my mobile device, I can use the voice to text feature. Silt fence damage. And then I can go down to description. Silt fence requires repair or replacement. I can assign this work to somebody. I'm going to assign that to Alan. For location, remember that this option is typically used for vertical projects. Having said that, if I look at this feature as a means of assigning an additional attribute, I could define a location category called erosion control with a subgroup called silt fence. I could then use this attribute in the future as a means of filtering issues to show me all issues associated with erosion control, or specifically silt fence. For now, I'm just going to leave the location field empty. Fortunately, the physical location of this issue will be captured by the push pin I've created on the screen. Likewise, the GPS coordinates will be captured along with the photo. For due date, I will say that Alan's going to have this done tomorrow. I'll tap set. And then as I drag this up, you can see under references, I have the ability to use my camera. So I'm going to tap use camera. We'll take a picture of the silt fence. I'll tap next. And then I'll tap done, and you can see how that photo is attached to that issue. Now, if you view the photo, we saw this in the viewer, or if I tap it here to view it, you can see this little squiggly line. I have the ability to mark up images when I'm out in the field. If I tap this markup tool, you can see that the current color of my markup in the lower right corner is red. If that's not going to show up very well on this photo, I can tap that and I can choose a different color. And then if you have a stylus, or if you have an Apple Pencil, or if you're just using your finger, you can draw on the image. Fix this. And if you have horrible handwriting, like I do, if you look in the lower left corner, there is an undo and a redo button. So each time I tap undo, it will remove the last segment. I'm going to tap redo to put those back. And when I'm finished, I will tap done in the upper right corner. I do that to show you that if you mark an image up, that markup is stored as a separate image. So you'll always have a pristine copy of the original, but then you'll have your markup as well. Now that I'm done, I will tap outside to close that dialog box. Let's close this PDF. And then I am going to stop mirroring, and we will return to our web browser. Here in the web browser, I'm going to tap F5 to refresh, and when I do, you can see all of the images that we captured when we were out in the field. Now, it was just me in this case, but if multiple people were out in the field, all of those photos are being routed into this environment. As your photo gallery grows, we can then use these filters to kind of pare things down and view common things. This option is closable. If I click the X, I can close that. To open it again, you can click this funnel. We can use the title to search for photo title. And you can see if I click in here, you can see some of the previous searches that I've done. I believe that we called a photo hydrant. There we go. So you can see how that comes up. If I want to clear the filter, I can do that by clicking the X. We can filter by location. I believe we did we do water main? Yeah, we did. We did water main. So that would be, a filter to show me all of my water main images. I'm going to close that. We can filter by date taken or date added. Currently, this is set to any. Show me all the photos that were taken today. And we can mix and match these things too. Show me all the water main photos that were taken today. I'm going to put this back. We can sort by type. Show me all the videos. Show me the videos and 360 photos. We can look for images that are referenced by something. Show me all the photos that are associated with an issue, for instance. You can see those. And then tags. Show me all photos that have that flared end section tag. Okay. We can also sort by who uploaded the images. Let's hover over an image. Notice this toggle. I can use this to select images. So this is kind of a personal filter. What I'm doing here, I'm just going through and manually selecting photographs. When I select items, it exposes this download button. If I wanted to share photos with somebody, we've seen a couple of ways to do it on the mobile app so far using the share tool, or we've seen in the viewer we can download. Here I can download a selected number of photos. That'll download it as a zip file so I could send that to somebody whether they're part of my project or not. I would like to deselect these. We saw earlier on that I can select all the images here. So if I just click that twice, that's an easy way to deselect images. Notice there's an export button too. I can use this to create reports. To generate a report, first you will have to either select or you will have to filter images, and then we can use this export option to create a report. I'm going to use a filter to create the report. I'll come down and we'll filter, just for this example, I'll say show me all the 360 photos. You can see those are selected. I can then choose export, and then I can give this a name. I'm going to keep the default name. For description, I'll say these are all the 360 images for this project. We can sort these. It's going to create a PDF. So how do I want to sort the images on the PDF? Do I want it newest to oldest or vice versa? How many photos do I want per row? It's going to arrange these in a matrix. Since they're kind of wide, I'm going to say 1 photo per row. And then I could choose my page size. I can also determine the metadata I'd like associated with these images. Now, these images don't have GPS location. I'm going to show you this. If I choose GPS, it won't include that if it's not part of the photo. I will then click generate. And to generate the report, it could take anywhere from a couple seconds to a couple minutes. When we run the report gives us a download link that we can share with others. It's a PDF, so whether the person's inside our project or not, we can send them this and they can just download the PDF. I can also download it directly from here, or I can create another report. Before I download this, let me mention that anytime you create a report within the Construction Cloud, the reports get dropped into this reports area. I can find reports here under Build. Reports is also available under Docs. You can see if I go to Reports, there's the report I just generated. It'll live here for 30 days and then it'll clear itself automatically. If you click the report, it just downloads it to your machine. And if I click to open this up, you can see there's the report, there's the message that I wrote. And if we get on to the next page, there's the images with the metadata that I wanted displayed with those. All right, close this up. And I am going to jump back to my PowerPoint. We're starting to wind down here. I would like to share some links with you. If you look in the chat, Shabari is going to place these links in there so you can access them. If you've never been to the learnacc.autodesk.com site before, I would encourage you to go there. There are some phenomenal how-to videos that help you get up and running using all the major functionality in the Construction Cloud. I'm giving you a link to the Photos course, since that's what we talked about today, but there are courses there for all of the major features. I am also giving you a link to all of the recordings of the prior sessions that we've done showing how to leverage Civil 3D in the cloud. If you want to host and manage Civil 3D projects in the Construction Cloud, this goes through everything from project creation, directory structure creation, inviting members, assigning permissions, sheet sets, data shortcuts, sharing data via packages, creating templates. There's a lot of content in there that you may be interested in. So during today's session, we looked at a lot of things. We looked at the photo gallery. All right, this is something that's available in Build. The photo gallery is a dedicated location in your project. It is an area where we can view images, view and edit their metadata. We can also create reports and share image assets. We looked at how to add the photo gallery to a project. We looked at how we could add photos to the gallery, whether we upload them right through the web browser or whether we get them directly through the mobile app when we're out in the field. We saw that once we have access to that Photos feature, we can incorporate photos into things like markups and issues. We saw how we could share photos with stakeholders, whether we share it from the mobile app, whether we download it directly from the viewer, whether we create a download zip from the web browser, or whether we create reports. So many ways we can share. I've also provided some additional resources for you. If there are any unanswered questions at this point, we will get back to you with an answer so long as we have your permission to do so. On behalf of Shabari, all the folks working behind the scenes at Autodesk, and myself, I want to say thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your time. We hope you find value in these sessions, and we look forward to seeing you again at our next webinar.